This is the Hisense HSM345AV CRT television, probably from somewhere in the 2000s, 34 centimeters or 14 inches in size, curved tube. The draw with this one is it's got component input on the back. Right now there's a PS2 running with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, as you can see, and it looks quite nice. On the front we have an input. It's a stereo television. Left and right, composite video, menu, TV, AV, volume down, volume up, channel down, channel up, infrared receiver for the remote, which I don't have, status of the television indicator, and the main power switch. I'd say we'll be able to rotate it onto its side because it's got a fair bit of surface area on the side that's flat, so I'll try that later. This TV seems to have perhaps a fault or a design fault. You'll see it when the Capcom logo comes up here. When it fades to black, it'll lose sync in a moment. Watch this. See that? It does that religiously every time. Sometimes it's a case when the picture's too bright that the picture drops out, but this seems to be the opposite. When this picture and it goes to black, it drops out. So I don't know what's going on there, but be warned. That is happening. Otherwise, this thing's displaying really well. Let's have a look around the back and the inside. Here's the side, sleek design of the television. Moving around to the back, aerial holder, label, made in China, model number, PAL BG. Wonder if it'll do NTSC, we will test that. Not multi-volty, only 220 to 240. There are ins and outs, the all-important component, the RF, the previous owner I would take. Shout out to Alan. How you going, mate? Thanks for the TV. Oh, I forgot to mention TIAC. Total Care TIAC. The distributors of Hisense here in Australia at least that time. Good old TIAC providing RGB for us most of the time. Nice and clean on the inside. Can't exactly find a chassis number on the chassis. Maybe that one there starting with E/R. Chengzhou, China. Our tube is Panasonic. Not a Japanese Panasonic. Beijing Matsushita Color CRT, made in China. I'd take that over many other Chinese brands of tube. Not too shabby. The speakers are on the front shell. I was glad to be able to take the back shell of the TV off and not have to disconnect anything to free it up. Stereo. Just a quick gun test. I'm sure it'll work. Yeah, pretty good. This is an NES PAL with Duck Hunt, obviously. Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. Now, what I want to do now is put on an NTSC console. NTSC Sega Saturn hooked up, displaying in color. That's what the test was all about. Color system auto. NTSC 4.43, NTSC 3.57 if memory serves correctly. And there we go. Tick that off on the box of what it does. Backing component with the pattern generator generating a 480i signal with the crosshatch pattern. A little kinked on the crossover between the horizontal and the vertical lines, otherwise looking pretty good. There are our color bars. Monoscope, very good purity. Can't see really any inconsistency. It's pretty uniform. I can't get it to drop signal. If I go from, say, a bright white to a small, it won't drop. I'm theorizing that the PS2 I am using, because it's PAL and it's got a mod chip which can then force it into NTSC, and then I've got software running that's NTSC and PAL. It's possible, but that mixture is not liked by the TV, but I've never seen those symptoms on another TV from PS2 running component. So what I'll do is I'll put on another console altogether and just see how it responds. I might actually put the Xbox on, even though that's modded as well. I think I've got Marvel 2 for it. There is an OG Xbox hooked up via component cable. It's not often that I have the original Xbox on display in my videos. This is a modded one, as you can see if you're familiar with modded Xboxes. And we've got Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the hard drive, and I haven't even tried it yet. And I'm going to be very interested to see how this game responds on the television, given that the PS2 component was dropping out as you saw earlier. So it's a pretty similar setup. Well, it works all good with the Xbox so far. PS2 would drop out every time on that Capcom logo fading to black. Capcom 2. New Age of Heroes. Well, I think that's pretty much it in this video. Oh, I don't think the start button on this Xbox controller. Oh, no, it works. What do I think about this television? Well, I wouldn't replace my Commodore 1084 with this one, for example, but this is still quite good. Saving grace being that it accepts component. I'm not sure about that signal dropout issue. I'd be very interested to know if there's any other viewers out there that have this Hisense CRT and if they've ever experienced any problems like I demonstrated today. All in all, this is a good display. I like it. Panasonic tube, component input, nice and light. I suppose I should get it on its side, shouldn't I? I should have had a Tate game, or Tate as people like it, or just quickly do it this way. Obviously it's just lost its colour. It needs to be degaussed again, but there you go. It sits up all right on its side. So if you want to do it that way, you can do it. Thank you for watching, and more to come.